Welcome back to Season 2 of No Fall Weddings. I'm your host, JP. Welcome back. I don't know how we're going to top last year with my two teams facing off in the national championship. Maybe it'll happen again, and this year Notre Dame will win. But we'll find out. For this episode, we're going to start with a little Week 0 recap, and then get into a little preseason predictions and Week 1 preview. Let's start with the coolest new rivalry name, Farmageddon. I don't know who came up with that, but it's brilliant. But it took place in my motherland of Dublin, Ireland. Iowa State versus Kansas State. Now, I'd normally rail on neutral site games, especially for conference games. That's kind of iffy. But this is a bias show, and I get a game before Week 1. Again, in Ireland, the Emerald Isle. Doesn't hurt that it was a ranked game also. So how did that game go? Well, welcome to Ireland weather. Downpour throughout, sloppy play, muff punts, bobbled snaps, turnovers basically in the first 4 possessions. Welcome to amateur football in the elements. The Cyclones took the W, though, thanks to Rocco Becht's 2 touchdowns in the air and 1 on the ground. And you know what? With the 12-team playoff, these mid-tier ranked games, they mean a lot. So even Week 1, it's a big deal. They get off to a 1-0 start. They're one of the favorites in the conference. It's a big W. Speaking of the playoff, year 2 of said 12-team playoff, but it's going to look a little different this year. The automatic bids for the major conference title winners and the highest-ranked non-major title winner will make the playoff. But unlike last year where they were automatically given byes, that's not happening this year. Wherever you're ranked, 1 through 12, that's the bracket, which, thank God, because we had some issues last year. We talked about it during Season 1 of No Fall Weddings. Basically, the main issue was Penn State got to play SMU and Boise State their first 2 weeks. That's just how the bracket fell. So they got basically 2 byes, if we're being honest, before they ran into Notre Dame. So we take care of that problem. No more automatic byes. Top 4 teams, based on the committee's idea, will get the byes this year. Speaking of Penn State, I want to be mad at them, but it's not their fault that the AP fell for the preseason hype again. How many years will this be the season that James Franklin finally gets over the hump and wins a big game? Yes, they returned 2 great running backs and supposedly a first-round quarterback in Drew Aller, who I may remind you did not complete 1 pass to a wide receiver the last game he played. Not 1. What also pisses me off is everybody knows Texas and Ohio State are playing Week 1 this year. Texas was ranked number 1, and Ohio State's ranked number 3. It was right there for you. We could have had the first ever Week 1 number 1 versus number 2 matchup, but instead they give overrated Penn State the number 2 spot. Again, preseason rankings don't mean anything, so in this case, just give Ohio State number 2 so we can have that graphic. Number 1 versus number 2, Week 1. But no, they effed it up. Just pay me a couple $100,000 and I can make these decisions for you, college football. Just let me help. Let's talk about that game a little bit. The Longhorns at the Buckeyes. And memories of Vince Young versus A.J. Hawk, Ted Ginn and Santonio Holmes versus Lima Swede, under the lights, in the shoe, all-time classic. And this is coming from the guy whose team lost that game. So how can we replicate that matchup again this year? Oh yeah, I mean let's put it under the lights. Let's make it the game of the year. All the hype. Nothing better than the shoe at night. Saw that Tennessee game in the playoff. It's just an awesome atmosphere. You got the Buckeye scarlet jerseys versus the Texas white road uniforms, which are awesome, by the way. But how do we screw this up? Fox puts it at noon. Their goddamn Big 10 noon kickoff, a.k.a. the Ohio State segment of the week, right at noon. It's just a travesty. I know I've talked about this ad nauseum, but it doesn't get old because it happens all the time. The best team in what right now is the best conference playing at noon. I don't care that it's its own time slot. Night games equal amazing atmosphere in college football. Ohio State deserves the night games. cannot wait till the Big Ten is done with Fox. Now, the X's and O's of that game, basically we got Arch Manning versus Jeremiah Smith, the two biggest names in college football this year. One because of his last name, another because, well, he was one of the best freshmen of all time last year. Both teams lost a lot of talent and a lot of depth to the NFL last year. So that's going to be a huge undertaking of who can rebuild. Not replace, rebuild. Ohio State's starting a new quarterback, Julian Sayin, who was the #1 overall quarterback from last year, who's now a redshirt freshman. He's got a loaded wide receiver core to throw to, new running back, a couple offensive linemen. Defense still looks pretty good. Texas lost 4 offensive linemen to the NFL, so we're going to see how well they protect Arch Manning in this game. I do think it comes down to, is Arch Manning that next dude? Is he the next Manning? If he's going to be the #1 overall pick, I think this game is a toss-up, and he's the X factor. If he's that good, I do think they might sneak away with a W. Either way, I think it's going to be low scoring. I think week 1 jitters on offense. I think both teams are going to struggle, maybe a couple turnovers. I think it's going to come down to the fourth quarter, who gets the key turnover, who has the good special teams. It's going to be a close, tight, low-scoring ball game. But that's not all for week 1. We got a pretty loaded slate. We also got Alabama at Florida State, LSU at Clemson, and Notre Dame at Miami. And the best part about this, no neutral games, all played on campus. That's how it's supposed to be, just as the Lord intended. Alabama's starting a new quarterback. Florida State's trying to get back to national relevance. 2 of the most hated coaches in the country, Brian Kelly and Dabo Swinney, facing off. One of them gets an L, so everybody almost wins. Notre Dame, Miami, both replacing starting quarterbacks. And he's trying to get over that national title hump. Miami's trying to be more consistent as a national program again. And they got to replace the Heisman winner and #1 overall pick, Cam Ward, who was camouflaging a lot of flaws on that team last year. So I'll be interested to see, without him, how good are they this year. I'm not really big into giant preseason predictions because I don't want to look dumb at the end. But I will pick the conference winners this year. Big Ten. Yeah, Penn State might be ahead of Ohio State right now, but we all know that's not going to happen at the end of the year. I will never pick James Franklin and Penn State until I see it. So I'm going with Ohio State. Obviously, Oregon's right there too. And I'm not even going to bring up that team up north yet. SEC, we got Texas at #1. We got Bama in the top 5. I'm actually going to go with LSU because I think they got the best quarterback. And as much as I hate Brian Kelly, I think the SEC is going to beat up each other a little bit. And as long as you win the right games, you'll be in that conference title game. ACC, got to go with Clemson. I do think Klubnik is he struggled as a freshman, but he's slowly getting better. Clemson still recruits at a high level. With Miami, I think, going to be a little down this year. I think Clemson will right the ship. And the Big 12 is just a toss-up. I mean, I don't think there's any elite teams. I'll go with Arizona State. They had a good W yesterday. They won it last year. I love their coach, so I'll go with Arizona State. Sun Devils. Heisman pick. I mean, these are pretty impossible. It's very rare that the favorite ends up winning, and this year it is Arch Manning, which I still think is just a wild, wild thing. If his name was Smith, it just wouldn't be that way. The guy barely played last year. He's been there 2 years. So, I mean, his body's ready, but he just doesn't have the experience. And to be the Heisman favorite is crazy. I'm going to go with Garrett Nussmeier of LSU. I think he's just going to put up ridiculous stats at LSU. I don't think they're going undefeated or anything. This is a year where somebody out of nowhere may win it. But as a favorite, I'll go with Nussmeier. Best odds, though, because this is a biased podcast, Jeremiah Love, running back in Notre Dame, 35-1 odds. I'm telling you, I think Notre Dame's going to have a damn good year. And that guy breaks off long touchdown runs. He jumps over people. He had the run of the year against Penn State last year. He plays for the University of College Football. If they start hot, he's going to get a lot of Heisman love. Pun intended. It's so good to be back with everybody. No fall weddings. I appreciate you watching. We'll have a big recap of week one next weekend. We'll see you then.